By the end of this video, you'll see exactly how real estate agents are getting 10 to 15 hours back per week, doubling their energy and creating more opportunities by doing less, all while rebuilding their capacity to perform better and for longer. I built this because I wish someone had handed this to me whilst I was in the thick of it, burning out whilst trying to pull it all together, succeeding on paper, but sacrificing too much behind the scenes. The MOCA method, which you'll see in here today, is the exact reason I've been able to help 50 plus agents, including some of Australia's top 1% agents, go from internal chaos and overwhelm to complete clarity and control, and ultimately a whole new level of performance they didn't even know that they were capable of. And once you've got the system, it becomes repeatable, sustainable, scalable, both in business and life. So let's get into it. Burnout is at an all-time high in real estate. It's not just draining your energy, it's capping your income and bleeding into every area of your life. Something has to change. And ultimately, that's why I built MOCA. We help high-performing real estate agents who are outwardly successful but inwardly stuck or burnt out rebuild their energy, identity, and execution systems performance so they can perform at the highest level without sacrificing their health, relationships, or freedom. Now, I know that that was literally me when I was in my real estate career, and I wish that I had this program. I wish someone came to me and said, hey, look, this is what we do, because I would have paid for it, and I probably would still be in real estate if that was the case. So guys, this is just a little bit of an overview of what we do. You probably know my story already, but I'll just run over it again. So that's me in real estate when I first started, young, eager, ambitious, 2018, hustling on the phones all day, early mornings, late evenings, just getting after it. It was all too much for me. I was probably living someone else's version of success at that point in time. And I started to feel this friction point between, who I was deep down and versus what I was doing on a day-to-day basis. I left the Sunshine Coast in this pursuit of success, in the pursuit of redemption. Sorry, I had a car crash when I was younger and went back to personal training. And then I was coaching a real estate agent. That inspired me to get into the industry. I saw the freedom that, it allowed this guy. I saw the C63, the Rolex. I thought, you know what? I want to give this a crack. So I moved to Sydney. That's where we are there. But yeah, as I said, there was this friction point. It didn't align for me. And inwardly, I was feeling like my soul was dying. So I left real estate, did a meditation retreat for 10 days in silence, no talking, no eye contact, no nothing. It was suffering for sure, but there was deep clarity as well. And that clarity was that I was trying to prove my worth through means that probably wasn't aligned. So left that, did a meditation retreat, moved to Bali and started a wellness business. I thought I was going to make $1 million, save the world, but then COVID hit and I burned, I crashed, the business went down. It wasn't good. So anyway, went back to the drawing board, went inward, studied breath work, the nervous system, nutrition, coaching, all the things, became a health coach, wellness coach. And that's sort of where I am today. But in that time, I hit rock bottom again and burnt out. Had to sort of crawl my way out from underneath the turmoil of wanting to be this big successful guy and also crashing and burning. So anyway, I lived and learned, became an NLP master practitioner, rebuilt my business with peace at the center, not pressure. Now I have a family, a fiance, a little fella, and that's where we are today. That was a podcast I did with Adrian Oddie. So that's my story. And I believe the old way of doing real estate is broken. Push harder, stack more dopamine, stack more strategies, one-day sales workshops, which rarely ever work, other top 1% podcasts, hustle through the chaos and chase the motivation higher. I feel like that summarizes, the industry at present. And ultimately, I think that a lot of people are confused in the industry because they're not sure how to get to this level of success sustainably in a way that they don't sacrifice everything. So that's what we're installing in the MOCA method, is a personal performance system which can help you get to the level that you want in a sustainable manner. So we lock in your sleep, energy, no spirals, chaos-proof schedule, which is pretty hard in real estate, but it's doable. Want the sales without the sacrifice, and ultimately a business that fits your life, right? Agents carry a lot. Deals, deadlines, pressure, expectations. Most are running on reactive weeks, saying yes to everything, relying on willpower to get them there, to get them through. The fix that they use is to stack on more surface level solutions, a new routine, a podcast, more calls, but nothing sticks. I see exhaustion just keep rising, and it's not from a lack of effort. It's not a mindset issue. It's a capacity problem. It's a systems problem. It's a human problem. And what's needed isn't necessarily more, but a better operating system that protects energy and powers performance, not just more hustle, more structure. So that's what I'm sort of seeing, guys, in the industry. It's not a case of more dopamine and more discipline. We need to fix at the foundation. And ultimately, MOCA agents, what we do is we build with precision, intention, and longevity. But here is the 3 pillars, guys. And the first pillar that we have is the vital reset. I put in sort of underneath it the energy operating system. It's your foundation. So the first step is really resetting your internal energy baseline. That means regulating your nervous system, restoring sleep, repairing recovery, and eliminating irrelevant BS, all the inputs that are just not useful to your energy. Because if your body's in chaos, the system can't operate properly, and the strategy that you place on top of it is still not going to work, right? Because you're in chaos. So ultimately, this is the foundation I believe every high performer needs, but most ignore. We focus on energy regulation, recovery, wellness. The problem that I see and what most people teach is they dump on more structure, more habits, more scripts, more affirmations from day one. They assume that you're just undisciplined, right? And they stack your calendar before stabilizing your system, which often means that they mistake movement for progress and they ignore the system that's below it that's actually allowing everything to operate. And why that's wrong is because it treats systems. It treats the symptoms, not your system, which is something that we do inside the energy operating system, okay? And they don't address your cooked energy, the overdrive within you, the burnout that's within you, that overwhelm. So you're stuck doing the work, but you're not present. You're not sharp, and you feel like you're always on. So what we do instead is we strip it all back. We regulate you, we recover you, we get you rebuilt using science-based practices to restore your energy baseline and your wellness baseline. Here you can see the 3 sort of components that we cover here: daily energy, sleep dial, nutrition locked, AM to PM rhythm, and home life in order. We get you set up. We look after your stress. We get your nervous system dialed, emotionally reset you so you can actually focus clearly. And we build out a personal recovery plan. Really important, this one. We look 12 months ahead and we work out where is all the holidays that you're going to be able to recover. We get it locked and loaded in advance. And we get more specific inside the program. That's just sort of at a high level. But one sort of thing that I'd like to draw your attention to is this idea of demand versus capacity, right? If I was to ask you, do you want your business to grow in the next 12 months? I would say the chances are yes. With growth comes more demand, okay? If I asked, do you think your capacity would grow at the rate of your demand if you do nothing? Meaning, can you handle more if you were to still be operating the same way? Most agents say no. And that is a problem because that leads to burnout. So you want to do more, but can you actually do more is the question. So we've got to strip it all back and rewire everything. Ultimately, what we find once you've come out of this energy operating system is you've got 10 to 15 hours back of usable energy, right? You stop breaking down and starting over. You stop being can't even talk, Mr. Inconsistent. And you finally get calm, stable, and clear. Everything finally clicks. And the analogy that I use is you're probably redlining with warning lights on, and we come in, we cool the engine, we fix the system, and we get you road ready for good. Okay, slow down to speed up. Once we've got that, guys, we move over to the core shift. Core shift is rewiring how you think, how you lead, and how you move through pressure. Okay, it's not just mindset, it's identity as well. You stop reacting to problems and you start being pulled by a clear internal vision for yourself. And this is where we get deeper clarity and real conviction and long-term alignment. What you don't need is more noise. You need to know exactly who you are and what you're here to build. And that's what the core values, the vision, North Star is, and the boundaries that work. So it's not some random boundaries that your previous real estate coach told you. It's what are the boundaries that you come up with that's going to support your vision, your North Star, and then we build that into a lifestyle plan. So you have complete clarity. You know exactly what you're doing. What most people teach, again, is they push for more habits, tighter systems, and these cookie cutter plans which focus on external routines instead of internal alignment. Ultimately, what happens is these real estate mentors will blame you when you fall off. They'll say, you just don't want it bad enough. And, it keeps you stuck in someone else's version of success. So we've got to create your version of success. And these are all the pillars that we go over. New beliefs, self-talk upgrade. How do you communicate with yourself? You start to respond over react. You become a resilience king or queen. become a master of your vices, and we build you a bounce back plan, which means that when things go pear-shaped, how quickly can you get back on track and stay there? So we want you performing on your tough days, not just your good days. You determine what your why is so that it pulls you through, okay? The problem that they teach is you're still maybe running on outdated belief systems, which means that there's inner misalignment, which means that there could be external sabotage or internal self-sabotage, which is a real challenge that I see people face in real estate. That ultimately means that even if you have some progress, momentum never really lasts because you haven't evolved to hold it. You feel guilty, self-doubt kicks in, and you spiral. So what we do instead is we rebuild your identity. We rebuild your belief systems and decision-making software. We design habits from who you are becoming, not who you were. Really important, that one. So you match your internal operating system to, your vision. Ultimately, we stop chasing discipline and start flowing with clarity, because with clarity comes conviction anyway. Energy returns, self-trust comes back. Your results start to become more automatic as you become a leader of your business. Your business isn't leading you. The analogy that I like to use here is you've been, running an iOS 10 on a system that needs an iOS 18. So we update your whole system. Once that's locked and loaded, guys, we move into the zero drag, which is the excellence operating system. I love this part of the business. It's really fun. This is when we can get the systems that protect your time, your energy, and your execution in the office. So you stop leaking, capacity, and you can start focusing and building precision. And that means that we can have a structure that becomes, your competitive edge. So guys, this unique number is really important. Don't worry about the calendar for now, but this unique number is so important because often I get agents that ask me, I ask them, what's your pie in the sky vision and goal and the number that you want to achieve. And they pull a random number out of the sky. Why that's important? Because this unique number, what you're chasing on a day-to-day basis, yearly basis, should align with the core values. And I use the word should not sparingly. I use it intentionally, meaning that you are obligated for your goal to be in alignment with your vision, North Star, and core values. Because if you're a MOCA agent, if you're a hybrid agent that's wanting to build, there needs to be complete alignment. Any tension, any friction, right, can actually pull you out of your capacity and drain you. So we want to make that sure that that's locked and loaded. And that's why the unique number is so important. That informs everything that we do, okay? But most people, again, in this sort of scenario that, other agents, sorry, not only agents, other mentors, real estate coaches, this is sort of the phase where they'll put you into group coaching and give you Q&As, and there'll be 40 agents on a Zoom call. They'll send you scripts or a podcast, top agent podcasts, and, they're getting you to do all these platitudes. And the problem with that is that you're left to figure it out alone. There's no real-time support or personal systems and barely any follow-through. So you're going like this. You're a yo-yo. You're up and down. And unfortunately, that's when momentum dies and systems break. And you start to waste hours trying to fix, these bottlenecks on your own, as opposed to doing dollar productive activities. Problem with that is your execution becomes super patchy, right? Super patching. You don't have full conviction or peak performance, and you don't have operational efficiency. So, everything becomes slow and unsustainable. So what we do, guys, in this program is we provide one-to-one mentorship, daily access, zero guesswork. We're in your back pocket 24/5. 24/5, I mean that. So you can message us at any point in the time during the 5 days of the week, and we're coming back to you. Voice notes, like the amount of touch points that you get is better than anything I've seen. So, we want to make sure that you have the real support to be able to make sure that the workflows work, to remove the drag and increase leverage and stay locked in. So we go through, all these outcomes here, become a calendar champ. We know exactly what you're doing day to day. One of the common objections that I get to that is, ideal days never work because I get pulled in. What if this buyer wants to do this appointment? What if this seller can only do this time? Like, the calendar is there as a average ideal day, right? It's not the best day I could ever think of. It's the average ideal day. And we've got to make sure we understand what our non-negotiables are and how much time we need to put into that. So a time budget, which goes into a calendar, which is informed by your unique number, which is informed by your core values and your vision. So we've got to tie it all together. Why this system works better is because you stop leaking time and energy, right? You stop leaking time and energy, you start to build sharper. You can actually start to grow your team delegation station with intention and scale without burnout. You've got expert accountability. You know what's going on. You are a full-blown leader that is making sure that there's There's no noise. You're trimming the fat. You're not wasting any time. You're increasing your efficiency and decreasing your drag, which ultimately means that you're going to get to your goal faster. Okay. Agents don't need another podcast. They need a pit crew with precision. When the wheels fall off, we don't just cheer, we change the tires. And what I mean by that is hustle culture is often praised. We don't do that. We actually praise precision, intentionality in allowing you to be able to move sustainably. Often I find, people say, oh, that's so much to do. There's a lot in that. And there is a lot in that. It takes a lot for you to be a sustainable hybrid agent, to be a balanced human that can get the most out of their life and professional career. It looks like a lot, but it's also bottleneck specific. So when we come into this program, we do an audit with you and we understand what is the actual critical component of these three strategies? What do we need the most, right? You actually might need to figure out your calendar first, which is going to give you more stability. And then we can actually see if it's aligned with the North Star and the boundaries outside of work. Okay? So there's all sorts of different opportunities here that we can go through. But one main keys that I want you to remember is that it's like an airplane taking off on a runway. There's always more fuel. There's always more inertia and energy required to get off the runway. But once you're at cruising altitude, everything becomes easy. So it's like, this is the same for this program. We tackle it one at a time at your own pace, making sure that you get the right support that you need in order to win, right? And these are some of the results that we've had just from some clients at the moment, which I'm really proud of. Will, absolute legend, does $7 million a year. Before, wouldn't think about taking time off. He was addicted to his phone, addicted to stress, dopamine, didn't know how to regulate himself. Now he has every Wednesday off. He's down 5% body fat. He's in the best shape of his life. He's present at home. His partner and his kids actually get to spend time with him. And this plan works because we designed it around what he actually needs, not just what some top 1% guy said. Adrian Oddie just spoke at ARIC. Super proud of him. Had cancer, was confused with the industry. How do I get out of this? Had coping mechanisms which were unsupported. Look at him now. Guns blazing. He's doing really, really well. Another client of mine in Adelaide, he just had his best year ever. Bought 2 properties, okay, in positive cash flow, opening a new office, putting on new team members. But before, he was questioning whether he wanted to stay in real estate. He was burnt out, unhappy, overweight, reactive, unhappy. And, now he's just bought his second property as a result of shifting things around. So it's amazing when you put intentionality into things, what can change. Phil Phillips, another absolute gun, was in Sydney, left it to start a new market in Byron. I came on board to help him with his back end performance and health and fitness to make sure that there was balance between all of the elements so that he could actually fit everything in. Within 2 years, he's now doing 2 million plus, probably closer to 4 this year. New office, Sotheby's, 8 team members. I'm coaching 3 of them. Present home, best shape of his life. So, this is just what happens. What might happen with you is that you might actually have to start turning down listings because you've got so much excess energy and people want to work with you that you're like, well, I can't actually handle it all. Guys, let's be real. You actually may already know some things that you need to do. You've probably read the books, you've heard the podcast, you've tried the planners, but none of it's stuck. And why? Probably because you're building on a system that's already cooked. Doesn't mean that you're broken, guys. You're just running on someone else's game plan, on a nervous system that is probably redlining. It's at capacity. No, core shift, internal upgrade, right? With no internal upgrade that can actually hold the life that you're trying to build. But that ends here. If you're watching this video, it's because this is your wake-up call. You don't need more motivation. You need to be held by the standard that you say you want, with real structure, with real accountability and real rhythm. And the version of you that scales and builds your business without burning out, overwhelm, and exhaustion, that leads with total clarity, that's present at home and dangerous in the marketplace. You don't arrive by accident. It's built by intention. So let's go do that. I hope you enjoyed the video of the MOCA method, the hybrid method. If you want to know more and you're ready to go further and build this for yourself, then DM me hybrid. Let's see how this system can apply to your life and your business. Looking forward to seeing you there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.